breaking news. He was just found dead after exposing PODESTAS. Once again the bodies are piling up around the liberals in Washington, and the media refuses to report on it. The deaths around the Clinton campaign have been rising in number for quite some time, but it's been hard to pin it on the elusive Hillary and make it stick. Like many of the rich and powerful, Clinton isn't out there getting her hands dirty. She got layers of protection. One of those layers comes in the form of a slimy layer of Podesta brothers. John Podesta has been with the Clintons for decades, looking after not only the Clintons' interest but that of his and his brother, Tony. It's hard to say which brother is the more of a threat to the American people, because while John is watching the Clintons' backs, Tony is lobbying for the interests of Russian banks here in the United States. Regardless of which brother would win the Sleaze Award for Most Dangerous, they both once again in the hot seat as investigators wonder if they guilty of yet another murder. Truth Unsealed reports that the most recent death was of an investigator who connected two brothers to the death of Madeleine McCann. In case you forgotten, Madeleine McCann disappeared while on holiday from the UK with her parents, Kate and Gerry McCann, her 2-year-old twin siblings. The media coverage and investigation was massive, and sometime during that investigation, Kevin Halligan connected the deadly brothers to the missing girl. And as often happens when someone points a finger at someone involved with the Clinton Foundation, he woke up dead at a mansion in England. The blood-soaked body of a private detective who linked John and Tony Podesta to the disappearance of Madeleine McCann has been found at a mansion in Surrey, England. Mystery surrounds the death of Washington, D.C.-based Kevin Halligan, 56, who presented himself as a cloak and dagger, James Bond-style spy who took on the most difficult cases. Surrey police confirmed Saturday that a probe has been launched into his death. Foul play suspected. Kevin Halligan took over the private investigation into the Madeleine McCann case in May 2008 and was responsible for linking John and Tony Podesta to the disappearance of the 3-year-old girl in Portugal, sparking frenzied speculation that the brothers, both high-level Democratic Party operatives, were responsible for her murder. The 56-year-old detective and his partner Henry Exton were responsible for the 2 EFIT sketches that were released in the search for the Madeleine McCann abductors, and which bore more than a passing resemblance to John and Tony Podesta. Kevin Halligan investigative work into the disappearance of Madeleine McCann revealed that one of the men pictured in the EFIT sketches was seen carrying a young child that resembled the 3-year-old child on a beach in Praia da Luz, Portugal, a popular beach holiday location where Halligan also proved the Podesta brothers were holidaying at the time. Halligan had IRT on the Podestas. Mainstream media attempted to convince everyone that it was a coincidence. However, the 56-year-old private detective knew more about the Podesta brothers and their secrets than many initially assumed. The British investigator was DC-based, and worked for Oakley International, an intelligence operation that considered the Podesta Group to be its natural enemy. Oakley International was based out of 2550 M Street, NW, Washington, D.C. This address is also the office of Patton Boggs, Washington's most politically connected law firm and lobbyist organization. When Halligan first moved to D.C. in 2005, he hired Patton Boggs to help set up his new business. Through his close connection with Patton Boggs, Kevin Halligan was more than familiar with the Podesta Group. They are closely connected. Tony Podesta has gone on record on multiple occasions praising Tommy Boggs of Patton Boggs, a brilliant guy who invented what a lot of us do. Nick Allard, Patton Boggs' co-chairman, also returns the praise for Tony Podesta. Oni and his group are the right people at the right time in the right place. Boggs invented the lawyer-lobbyist model and Tony perfected it. They are probably the 2 giants of the modern practice. There is no one else in the same zip code. So there is no question Halligan knew about the Podestas and their reputation. Why did he link them to Madeleine McCann's disappearance in Portugal? What dirt did Halligan have on the 2 powerful Democratic operatives? Why did Kevin Halligan, hired by the McCann to investigate their daughter disappearance, produce EFITs closely resembling beyond reasonable doubt his client Patton Boggs' biggest rivals? Who persuaded NY Gerry and Kate McCann to put their faith in a random Washington, D.C.-based private detective, and pay him $500,000, after he reached out to them telling them he could find their daughter? And why was Gerry McCann pictured laughing and joking his way around Washington, D.C., in July 2007, less than 3 months after his daughter Madeleine disappeared, lobbying statesmen on child trafficking, kissing Laura Bush dog, and generally enjoying the limelight? Kevin Halligan blood-soaked death in Surrey, England this week stinks to high heaven. The man who linked the Podestas to the disappearance of Madeleine McCann appears to have paid the ultimate price for something he did during his 56 years on this earth. Many believe linking the powerful Podestas to the disappearance of the 3-year-old was the moment he signed his death warrant. At this point, We might not ever know what happened to poor little Madeline, because of the number of millionaires that the Podestas are in bed with, but if they were looking to throw suspicion someplace else, killing the man who connected them to the case was probably not the way to do it. This whole thing is being brought up once again, all because someone else who crossed the Clinton Foundation met an untimely end.